Proverbs 11 says, a gossip goes around spreading rumors, but an honorable person tries to quiet them. When you're honorable, you pour water on the fire. You take up for people. You defend your family. The enemy would love to draw us into gossip, spreading rumors, being a busybody. That's a sure way to miss your destiny. In these days, there's more noise than ever. People saying things that aren't true, trying to discredit, make you look bad. It's tempting to think, hey, two can play at this game. Let me tell you what I think about you. If we're not careful, we'll get drawn into battles we're not supposed to fight. We'll end up critical, disparaging others, saying things that aren't true about them. Let God fight your battles. You don't have to defend yourself. You have a defender. Your reputation is in God's hands, and He has never lost a battle. Ignore the negative chatter. Don't try to combat the lies, the rumors, the innuendos. You'll never stop all that. That's a distraction to get you to spend your time and energy trying to prove to people who you are, how you're not what they said. Those are lies. Those are rumors. Can I tell you, they are misunderstanding you on purpose. They're never going to be for you. The good news is you don't need them to fulfill your destiny. But one test that we all have to pass is to not be critical toward people who are critical of us, to not disparage those that are trying to make us look bad. See, an eagle never fights with a crow. When a crow is pestering him, all the eagle does is go up higher. A crow can't fly at the altitude an eagle can fly out. Quit fighting and go up higher. Ignore it. It can't stop your destiny. If you're going to reach your furthest potential, you have to be comfortable being misunderstood. Jesus did no wrong. He raised people from the dead, healed the sick, He fed the multitude, yet people slandered Him, mischaracterized Him, spread rumors, all on purpose. They knew He was doing good, but they were jealous, small-minded, insecure. They couldn't handle who He was. And some people can't handle your success. They're going to lie, slander, disparage. Don't sink down to their level. It may not feel good, but they can't stop your purpose. You stay honorable, stay faithful, stay trustworthy, and God will take care of all the negative chatter. He may not stop it, but He won't let it stop you. You'll continue to rise higher. A few years after I started pastoring, there was a couple that attended Lakewood that owned a transportation company, and they had such big hearts, and they wanted to help people in need. So every Sunday, they would drive their big stretch limousines to the homeless shelters and bring people to church, and drive them to the Open Door Mission, to the battered women's home. They treated these people like royalty. Some had never been in a limousine, but they brought them to church, and we gave them seats down front and told them who they are, children of Almighty God. Well, these limousines were so big, they didn't have anywhere to park them. Of course, they wouldn't fit in a normal spot. I told that couple to park them right in front of the old church on the main driveway. Some Sundays, there would be a half a dozen of these long stretch limousines in front of the building. One day I received a letter. It said, Joel, we came in from out of town to visit Lakewood. We loved it. We love what you're doing, but we just don't think it's right that your family would come to church in all those big limousines. Sometimes we're critical of things we don't understand. We're making judgments without knowing the facts. We form these negative opinions. We say things, but it's not what it looks like. We don't know the full story. We just see the limos. We don't know the motives. We don't know the reasons. We assume things that may not be true. And with all the ways to communicate these days, with all the chatter and social media, and this coworker said this, and my friend said that, and my neighbor told me this, maybe we're judging things prematurely. Maybe we're finding fault without knowing the details. Even if it is true, where is the mercy? Where is the grace to give people room to make mistakes, to not be perfect? Maybe God is dealing with them. Maybe they're going to make better decisions. Instead of judging them, talking behind their backs, why don't you take that same time and pray for them? Be a part of the solution and not the problem. My father went to college back in the 1930s. There was a new student that showed up that year, dressed in the nicest suit they had ever seen. It was a zoot suit. The pants came up real high. And he had a vest, a beautiful tie. Everyone commented on how good he looked. He was the talk of the school. Well, he wore that same suit the next day, and the next, and the next. After a couple of weeks, people noticed that suit was all he wore. A month later, they started talking. Here he comes with the same suit. Let's see today. Yes, he's got it on. Once again, he was the talk of the campus. But this time, everyone was making fun. They would snicker when he walked by, laugh and make more jokes. 3 months later, my father noticed he was packing up his suitcase, and he asked where he was going. He said, "John, I'm going back home. My family is very poor. They saved up all they could to send me to school. We only had enough money to buy this one suit. It's all I had to wear. I was already self-conscious about it, but now everyone makes fun. They ridicule me. I can't deal with it anymore." Dropped out and went home. Of course, when my father and the other students found out about it, they felt about that big. If they had known the facts, they would have been forgiving, understanding, even helped him to buy some more clothes. How many times are we judging people without knowing the motives, without knowing the challenges, how they were raised, and what they're dealing with? If we walked in their shoes, most of the time we'd be more understanding, more compassionate. It's easy to be critical, find fault, stir up the negative. That's being a crow. You're an eagle. Let's be people who are full of mercy. People like Shem and Japheth, even when they are wrong, we cover the fault. Paul said in 1 Thessalonians, "Make it your ambition to live a quiet life and to mind your own business." What can distract us quicker than anything is minding everyone else's business. If he wears the same suit, that's his choice. If they have limousines at the front of the church, I don't know all the details. That's not my business. I have enough drama in my own life. I don't need your drama. I'm not going to judge you, be critical, tell you how to do everything. Well, if I was them, I wouldn't do that. If I was her, I wouldn't have married that guy. If I was him, I wouldn't have chosen that career. Here's the whole key. You're not them. You haven't walked in their shoes. You haven't experienced their pain. You haven't fought their battles. You don't have their background. It's tempting to be critical, judgmental, but maybe there's something you don't understand. Maybe those limousines are not what you think. Maybe wearing the same suit, he's got a good reason. Don't be a hindrance. Start cutting them down. Be a help. Use your words to bless, to encourage, to speak life, to speak victory. I met a man after the service one time, and he was so bent out of shape. He said, "Joel, my pastor back home, he just announced that he's going to take 6 weeks off this summer. That is not right. I don't understand why he would do that." I thought to myself, I know exactly why. To get away from people like you. Let people run their own life. If we're nosy, busybodies, we'll end up critical, finding fault, saying things to put people down. No, run your race. Focus on what God put in your heart. What other people do or don't do, that's none of our business. That's between them and God.